Many people within the community that has great interest in the fascinating and curious domain of the animal world naturally wonder who would come up on top in a deadly confrontation between two spectacularly powerful animals. Lion or tiger, a classic, gorilla or bear, shark or crocodile. If there is one animal that seems to be regularly dragged into these slugfests, it is the gorilla. It almost feels as if we're curious to know how we would stand up to a variety of wild animals, but taking a quick glance at our delicate skins, atrociously low natural strength and fighting spirit of indoor houseplants leaves us no other viable choice but electing a wild bipedal representative that somehow looks like us to take on the fight. This time we'll go through a deadly confrontation between a silverback gorilla and a Siberian tiger. Let's dive in. The silverback gorilla, the biggest, more massive primate in existence. It is about 400 pounds with a height of up to 6 feet. Its shoulder, back and arm are dripping with fast twitch muscle. This allows a sudden and explosive release of power within a short period of time. Getting a slap from it will send your jaw flying into a different time zone. A word of caution is important here. We humans tend to project our fighting skills in the gorilla to an exaggerated scale. Its body is not adapted for punching or knee strikes, but it is an expert at grappling, wrestling, pulling and pounding the ground. Its bone and muscle density makes it capable of snatching people's soul at the speed of a late-night bullet. Mother Nature, being so lovely in her own horrifying manner, equipped the silverback gorilla with an absurdly long arm, allowing it to remove any long-distance relationship that the opponent would wish to maintain. The tiger, a brolic feline monstrosity that made an illustrious career out of being one of nature's most murderous agents. Everyone in its ecosystem is fair game because it is considered to be what's called an apex predator. This title outlines the fact that it has no natural predator in its habitat, while being itself an enormous problem for every neighbor's mental sanity and physical safety. It is about 390 pounds, a little less heavy than the average silverback. The muscular density around its shoulder cage will make your request for a refund at your local gym. Just like the gorilla, it is equipped with fast twitch muscles which, as previously stated, allows a combustible burst of strength within a short period of time. However, its muscle fiber composition is much more balanced, which allows greater stamina. Its back legs are particularly muscle dense. This allows them to stand upward in a manner that would facilitate the killing of larger adversaries or to dismiss the laws of gravity for malicious intentions. So when it comes to brute strength, how do they compare? Well, in terms of upper body strength, the silverback is way stronger than the Siberian. But the oversized feline has the upper hand on the lower front because they never bailed on a leg day in their entire lives. Now in terms of defense, who would come up on top? On that side, the gorilla lags way behind. It is covered with a decent amount of fur, adding an extra layer of protection. But because Mother Nature sometimes enjoys herself, giving people the middle finger for no other apparent reason than it being funny, she saw to it that the massive primate is not covered when it matters the most. Its ears and face and hands and feet and toes and chest and backdoor are as exposed as an online martial artist in a street fight. What about the tiger? Well, its defense is so airtight that it will make a Wall Street bank vault feel emotionally vulnerable. The Machiavellian feline's body is utterly covered with dense layers of fat, fur and muscles, allowing it to remain operational within the most inhospitable environments. Siberian tigers, after all, live in an extremely cold environment, minus 50 degrees in fact. The weather will try murdering you with such a tremendous amount of devotion to the task, you will find it impossible to believe that it isn't personal. And yet, the Siberian feline lives at ease in that unforgiving climate, contrary to the silverback who only lives in temperate regions. All in all, in terms of defense, the Siberian tiger wipes the proverbial floor clean with the silverback gorilla. Next, weaponry and arsenal. The silverback's incredibly muscular arm, capable of making you reconsider your life choices, although powerful, is not the finest piece of weaponry it has. Inside its mouth, you will find a perfect row of razor-sharp teeth. The ape on steroids has one of the most powerful bite forces in the entire animal world. 1300 pounds per square inch in fact. And you know that someone bites quite hard when they have a jawline more powerful than that of a lion, tiger or even a grizzly bear. The striped wild cat's arsenal is no joke either, an obscene amount of animals found to the detriment that its mouth is an extremely inhospitable environment. It has a bite force of little over 1,000 pounds per square inch, a bit less powerful than that of a silverback but much more adapted for being an instrument of mass execution before the fact, during the fact, and after the fact. Its horrifying dentition is placed right inside an elongated snout, which can be pretty practical if you happen to be a pathological lunatic who chose systematic, rampant murder as a way of life. What's more, the tiger's canines are much longer, a bit like a drill, devoid of its capacity for excellent carpentry, but with all its ability to penetrate the opponent's flesh so thoroughly that it will stop being funny. The gorilla, on the other hand, just like us humans, has its teeth snatched right against the face. They're perfectly adapted for eating hard and fibrous stuff like tree bark and woody stems, but not for compelling another animal to surrender. Back to the tiger. In addition to its homicidal set of soul-snatching teeth, nature also thought that it would be amusing to equip it with 4 inches curved, retractable, criminally inclined set of claws. They're the same size as a large human finger. In the event that your back is itching and you ask a tiger to scratch it for you, this will make you forget all about the initial pain and escalate the gravity of your predicament to disproportionate scales. Now that we went through their distinctive characteristics, now let's settle down on which one would win in a death battle. Let's try our best to envision how the confrontation would occur in the first place. First, the second the silverback gorilla lays eyes on the striped, rampant, homicidal lunatic, every single gene and hormone carefully crafted for the exclusive purpose of survival would scream from the top of their proverbial lungs that something excruciating is about to happen. You see, the tiger is a proud descendant of a long lineup of successful predators. It has collected extensive experience in ruining people's lives for millions of years. To cut it short, it is the predator. Not a, not the, certainly not some, the. The gorilla, on the other hand, is among one of the most peaceful animals on Earth, which is why you will find throughout the world touristic activities featuring long walks in the company of gorillas. They're social, altruistic, and most of all, mostly vegetarian. The ape has a bite force allegedly stronger than that of the opponent, but to have a taste, it will need to have both its face and body really close to the tiger, which is something you do only when or after you come to the conclusion that living is no longer your priority. Getting close to the oversized cat will grant you unsolicited and merciless attention from its lacerated claws, the size of a human thumb, and razor-sharp teeth, each one of which has the compassion of an insurance broker. The gorilla's body is protected with mere skin in vital areas, chest, face, hands, a fact that the tiger with its infinitely deep-pocketed generational killing experience will not miss to notice. The gorilla's diet is mainly made up of plants, fruits, stems, and the occasional insects. Acquiring those really doesn't require the skills and predispositions of a professional killer. The tiger, on the other hand, has few of the most powerful land animals in its diet plan. Indian gores, water buffaloes, wild boars, moose, and perhaps the most important point to keep in mind is that it hunts alone. Because nature's instinctual drive for survival determined that it doesn't need large-scale cooperation to survive, unlike most predators like wolves, hyenas, or wild dogs. You'll find it extremely difficult to convince a silverback gorilla to go after the multicolored monstrosity because it knows only too well that it would be almost certainly forfeiting its life. The tiger wins this one.